That Truck Series race at Bristol Dirt was not what I expected. It was definitely a really, really crazy race, and we saw a surprising winner that I never thought would be even in contention to win today's Truck Series race at Bristol Dirt, but he was able to win today's race at Bristol Dirt. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching the Truck Series race at Bristol Dirt, and I have to say that this race, while we saw someone pretty much dominate the Truck Series race, I have to say that even though we saw a dominating race, I thought the race was absolutely wild and was absolutely crazy. And when the racing and there weren't a lot of caution, there was a lot of caution in this race, I thought that the race was really, really good. So let's go ahead and jump into the backstory of this race, and then we'll jump into the race. So the race happened today on Monday. This race originally was supposed to happen on Saturday, but we had monsoons and rain. There was a big thunderstorm that happened from the southeast. Big storms hit the southeast of America, including Tennessee this past week, and there was flooding at the racetrack. There was no racing yesterday and no racing Saturday, and there was racing today, and the truck race happened finally. And unfortunately, because there were no heats, because they canceled the heats, Ryan Newman, Jessica Friesen, and Trevor Collins and J.R. Hefner, who withdrew after crashing practice. These drivers would fail to make the race. Ryan Newman and Jessica Friesen were two of the drivers that were really, really fast in practice. Ryan Newman being top 5 in the practice, but unfortunately, because there was no practice, no qualifying or the heats, Ryan Newman was not able to compete in today's race, and they went home. Luckily, Jessica Friesen is going to race in Knoxville, which we'll talk on the channel here tomorrow. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump to the start of this race. So starting on the pole today because of the random draws, John Hunter Nemechek would actually start on the pole with Austin Hill on the inside. The race would start off green, and we'd actually go green for about 14 laps, and the racing at the start of this event was really, really awesome. Austin Hill would end up leading the first lap in this race, and then Sheldon Creed would actually take the race lead and would have to hold off guys like Martin Truex Jr. and even Stuart Friesen, who was starting to drive up to the front. The first caution in this race to come out for Tanner Gray spinning in turn 3. Tanner Gray got a little bit of sideways going into the corner, and that would spin him out, bringing out the first caution in this race. We would go back racing on lap 18 here, since Sheldon Creed once again would lead the next portion of this race. And the second caution in this race to come out for Carson Ozavar. Carson Ozavar was stopped on the racetrack. Again, I don't know why Carson Ozavar decided to stop there. NASCAR should not be happy with them about that. But Carson Ozavar, it looks like he was overheating, was going a lap down. He intentionally stops on the racetrack and brings out the second caution of this race. We would then go back racing on lap 32 of this event. And in the third caution of this race would come out a lot of wrecks in this race. The third caution in this race, it looked like there was some contact from Austin himself into the back of Chandler Smith. Chandler Smith would spin, and Tyler Ankrum would have nowhere to go. He would clobber into the side of Chandler Smith. Chandler Smith had a lot of damage. He was able to continue on, but Tyler Ankrum, he ended up falling out of this race with too much damage on the car, and he would be the first truck to fall out of this race. We would then go back racing on lap 40 of this event, and Martin Truex Jr. actually was able to get the race lead on the restart, and a pretty good battle with Sheldon Creed. It looked like Stuart Friesen was going to have a chance to make it a pass on here, but there was nothing that they could do. Martin Truex Jr. surprisingly was able to drive from 15th up the lead, and he was able to pull away and win stage 1 of this race. And now we jump into the next part of the race where stage 2 is about to begin, and remember, there were no live pit stops for this race, for the Truck Series race. And Stuart Friesen and John Hunter Nemechek decide to not go down pit road and decide to stay out. Now, to me, I don't know why Stuart Friesen and John Hunter decided not to go down pit road. There were no regular live pit stops for the event, and that was really the only time you're going to be allowed to pit unless there was a special occasion. So I think that Trip Bruce and the 52 team and John Hunter Nemechek's team really made a bad call right there. And unfortunately, this would be the point where Stuart Friesen would end up falling out of contention with this race, because it was very hard to pass and there were too many cautions in the event. So this would screw Stuart Friesen out of a shot of going for the win in this race. We would then go back racing for a few laps, and then Matt Crafty, who had not been happy with Sheldon Creed, John Hunter Nemechek, he was not happy with John Hunter Nemechek. He actually would get into the back of John Hunter Nemechek, spinning him out, going into the outside wall. And a while back, Timothy Peters, it looked like may have gotten into the back of Derek Cross. It looks like they were trying to slow down and miss. They were up on the high side. Those two would basically pile drive into John Hunter Nemechek, and I think Derek Kraus and John Hunter would fall out of the race. John Hunter was not very happy with all the drivers in the 19 team and the 88 team. He basically gave them a round of applause and a bow in the back of the garage, and there was some radio communication that definitely did happen. I think they basically said they wanted to kiss asses or something like that, and basically like choke his throat or something like that. I don't remember exactly the radio transmission that happened. But tempers were definitely flaring, and Richmond's in a couple weeks for the Truck Series, so those tempers might flare. And then during the during the interview when he was coming out of the Care Center, he basically ended up telling the 19 team of Freddie Kraft and Derek Cross they basically need some glasses because he couldn't see, which I found that really, really funny. John Nemechek was definitely not happy. I guess he wanted to, I know that there was a baby on the way and there was baby watch room. His Cristobal might have been going to run this race if John Nemechek had to leave early, but John Nemechek definitely was not happy after this. And then we go back racing for a few laps, and Mark Truex Jr. basically being the leader of this race. And then after that, the next caution actually come out for Jennifer Jo Cobb. Jennifer Jo Cobb spun off of turn 2, bringing out the next caution of this event. Then we go back racing for a couple more laps, and then Norm Benning, who had a flat tire, decides to stop on the track and bring out the caution with a flat tire. Now, NASCAR frowns upon drivers doing that, and Norm Benning, I don't know what he was doing. The Norm Benning eventually ended up getting flagged by NASCAR for not following procedures in this race, which Norm Benning, I like him a lot, but I don't know what Norm Benning was doing in this race. But Norm Benning would bring out the next caution of this event. Then we go back racing on lap 76 of this event, and then we went green again for a few more laps. And then My Sider, he actually would spin off a turn 4, bringing out the next caution of this event. It looks like he got a little bit sideways, and he would spin coming off of turn number 4. Then we went back racing on lap 85 of this event, and then we see a pretty good shootout for the victory, with Mark Truex Jr. holding on and sweeping both stages of this event, holding off Ben Rhodes to secure the stage 2 victory. We then go back racing on lap 92 of this event, and then with around 50 laps to go in this event, Mike Marlar, he would end up having a flat tire. Now, NASCAR surprisingly did not throw the caution, even though they've been throwing cautions pretty clearly. Mike Marlar was clearly up on the high side. NASCAR doesn't throw the caution, and Kyle Larson was starting to move up to the pack. Kyle Larson's truck, by the way, was not very good in this race. He was starting to drive his way up to the front, getting in the top 15 where he probably should have been because, like I said, his truck was really, really bad. Mike Marlar's truck was up high slow. Kyle Larson really couldn't see. He had nowhere to go. And he would end up getting into the back of Mike Marlar, clobbering him and falling out of this race. Danny Bone and Brett Moffitt also would get involved in this crash, which is really, really disappointing because Kyle Larson was starting to come up to the front and trying to get the high side work, as the high side really did not work too much in this race. And also, I just don't understand why NASCAR didn't throw the yellow right there. They easily should have thrown the caution, especially when a truck is that high up on the racetrack and an endangerment on the track. NASCAR's been throwing cautions pretty easily. I never understood why they did not throw the yellow at that point. We would then go racing actually for about 12 more laps in this event, and then the next caution in this race will come out during the commercial break with 31 laps to go in this race. It looks like Chandler Smith got a little bit of sideways, and Johnny Slaughter had nowhere to go, and he would end up clobbering into Johnny Slaughter, which was disappointing because Johnny Slaughter was running like 20th at some point, and then Chandler Smith, he was running a little bit farther back as well. That would bring out the second to last caution in this event, and then we go back racing with 25 laps to go, and the final caution in this race would actually come out for the 49 Andrew Gordon. He got a little bit sideways coming off of turn number 4, and he would actually fall into the tire barrier and get stuck in the tire barrier, and that would bring out the final red flag of this race. Then we would have a 12-lap shootout for the win. At this point, you had guys like Ben Rhodes and Todd Gillen who were starting to drive their way, maybe had something for Mark Truex Jr., who was dominating pretty much most of this race. But on the final restart, Ben Rhodes ends up spinning the tires, but he starts trying to chase Mark Truex Jr. down, but there is not enough time. Surprising fashion, Mark Truex Jr. dominates here in the 51 Truck for Kyle Busch Sports, and he wins his first ever NASCAR Truck Series event. Mark Truex Jr. becomes, I think, like the 34th, 35th driver to win in all 3 NASCAR divisions now, as he has won the Truck Series, Cup Series, and now the Xfinity Series. Well, Mark Truex Jr. was the winner today at Bristol Dirt. I'm going to say this right now. I was not expecting Mark Truex Jr. to dominate like he did. I thought Truex was going to have a solid run, maybe like a top 10 run. And I thought today's race, you're going to saw Stuart Friesen and Sheldon Creed, and even people like Haley Deegan and Kyle Larson and Chase Briscoe be up there. And the points we had, Sheldon Creed, Chase Briscoe, and Stuart Friesen up in the front. But at the end of the day, a lot of different cast of characters were up in the front. People I did not expect to be up in the front. But at the end of the day, one of the best trucks in the field, Mark Truex Jr., was able to score his first ever Truck Series victory here at Bristol Dirt. So once again, congratulations to Mark Truex Jr. on winning today's race. So let's go ahead and go through the results, and then I'm going to give you the score of today's race. Mark Truex Jr. today won his first career race. Congratulations to Mark Truex Jr. once again. Ben Rhodes finished his second. Ben Rhodes was really, really solid in this event. He ran really good at Eldora last time we were there. He was really, really solid today. Gets second place run. Nothing gets him. He looks really, really strong to start this year. He's looking like a potential Final Four contender for the Truck Series this year. He looked really, really strong today. Rafael started with a third-place run. Rafael was really fast in the practice sessions on Friday. He looked really, really strong today. He gets a third-place run. Solid run for Rafael Start. Todd Gillen finished 4th. I thought Todd Gillen really had a chance to maybe go after Mark Truex Jr. in this event, but there were too many short runs, and he had a bad restart. I think he got held up by Ben Rhodes, and that would unfortunately hurt Todd Gillen's chance of winning, but he gets 4th. Great run. They've needed a good run this year, that 38 team, and they finally got a strong run for Todd Gillen. So good run for Gillen. Chase Briscoe finished his 5th. Great run for Chase Briscoe. I thought Briscoe had a pretty good truck. It was coming through the field. He actually started all the way back in 33rd in this race because, again, there was no heat races, but he finished 5th today. Solid run for Chase Briscoe and good learning experience for the Cup race, too. Grant Enfinger finished 6th. Solid run for Grant Enfinger. They played a strategy call at the end of the race, and he gets 6th. Solid run for him. 7th place for Zane Smith. Zane Smith actually had to go to the rear of the field because of the rule change. They put fuel in the truck before they put tires on. You were supposed to put tires on before fuel with the pit rules. He finished at 7th, though. Nice bounce back. Parker Kligerman had a great run today. Finished 8th. He ran top 10 a lot of this race. Gets an 8th place run. Great run for him. Austin Hill with a 9th place run. Not a bad run. And Austin himself, top 10, ran top 10 pretty much on this race. And under that incident with Chandler Smith, he ran pretty consistent today and gets a 10th place run. Solid run for Austin himself today. Bubba Wallace finished 11th. I'll be honest, I thought Bubba Wallace is going to be a little more of a factor today, but 11th place is not that bad for Bubba Wallace. Solid run for him overall, and gets that points for that 11 Spencer Davis Motorsports team. Stuart Friesen finishes 12th in today's event. I'll be honest with you, I thought Stuart Friesen was going to be a little bit more of a contender today, but once they made that bad pit call, I think that overall really cost Stuart Friesen a shot to win. But gets a 12th place run. Not bad, but I expected more from him today. Tanner Gray, after spinning out, bounced back to 13th place finish. Matt Kraft, another guy I thought was going to be more of a factor today. He finishes 14th. Again, not bad, but I expected more from Matt Kraft today. Kevin Hart finishes 15th. He really was not a big fan of at points, and yet on Saturday, gets a 15th place finish. Not a bad run. Sheldon Creed, another guy who I really thought was going to be a contender today. He finishes 16th. Not a great run for him, to be honest, but he was up front early. I don't know what happened. I think the truck just went away from him. Daniel Suarez finishes 17th. 18th place goes to Chase Purdy. Haley Deegan finishes 19th. I'm going to talk about Haley Deegan here for a minute. I'm going to be honest with you. I was really disappointed in Haley's run. I'm a huge fan of Haley Deegan, but I expected Haley Deegan to be a lot faster today than she was. She finished 19th. Again, she was at points in the top 15, but I don't think her truck was really good. And with the Highline not coming in, not being able to use, it was very hard to pass at times too. Not a great run for her. I expected a top 10 run. Yes, she is getting laps in, and that's going to help her, especially when we go to Knoxville later this year. But Haley Deegan finishes 19th. I expected more from her today. I was a little disappointed in Haley Deegan's run. 20th place goes to Ryan Truex. Carson Osbar finished 21st. 22nd place for Maya Sider. 23rd, Tay Fogelman. 24th, Brett Moffitt. 25th goes Spencer Ward, who I think actually also spun in this race as well. Cody Erickson finished 26th. Cody Rohrbach finished 27th. 20th place goes to Mike Muller. 29th, Jake Griffin. 30th, Timothy Peters. 31st, Andrew Gordon. 32nd goes to Johnny Sauter. 33rd for Chandler Smith. 34th, actually 33rd for Jennifer Jo Cobb. 34th, Chandler Smith. 35th, Kyle Larson. 36th, Danny Bone. 37th place goes to Norm Benning. 38th for Derek Cross. John Nemechek finishes 39th. And finishing 40th in last place here at Bristol Dirt is going to be Tyler Ankrum. So now, let's go ahead and talk about the truck race overall and give you my score of today's race. Even though Truex Jr. dominated this race, I actually really enjoyed this race. When there was no cautions in this event, and when you saw green flag runs, I thought the racing throughout the field was really, really solid. And I thought that the truck race was better than I thought it was going to be. Yes, there were a lot of cautions, and I wish there were less in this event overall. But I thought overall in the truck race, we saw some good racing. And in my opinion, I thought it was a great race overall. I'm going to give today's Truck Series race at Bristol Dirt a 9 out of 10. The only reason I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10, even though Truex Jr. dominated, is because of all the cautions. If there were less caution in this race, I would give this race a little bit higher of a score. But I still thought today's Truck Series race was pretty good and a surprising winner here at Bristol Dirt. So anyway, congratulations to Truex Jr. on winning at Bristol Dirt. We got the Cup Series race coming up here in about an hour and a half. We're going to see how the Cup cars drive. I do expect the Cup race to be not as sloppy, though there is a lot of dust. I don't think the Cup race is going to be as sloppy. I might have jinxed it here, but I do not think that the Cup Series race at Bristol Dirt is going to be as sloppy. That is just my opinion on that. So anyway, that is going to be my race here from the Truck Series race at Bristol Dirt. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications so you can be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links description below for that. And comment your thoughts on today's race. What are your thoughts about today's race at Bristol? Let me know comments below, and let me know your score below in the comments. And congratulate Truex Jr. on winning today's NASCAR Truck Series race and getting his first career Truck Series win at Bristol Dirt. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like this YouTube. Can recommend more of these great videos out to you guys. Do that, I'd greatly and truly appreciate it. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. The Cup Series race is coming up later, and we will do a race review at the conclusion of the race. So I'll see you guys right there when the NASCAR race is over. Take care, everybody.